Hey, what is up, Dr. Webb? Go Bills, Raiders suck. This is Reflect and Connect, number 3 on chapter 11. This one was about like programming and choosing music. Starts off, why do people perform? Improvement of physical skills, appreciation of music, awareness of style, concept, understanding, etc. And then self-esteem and internal motivation for wanting to get better also drive our desire to perform. Now, it goes on and talks about over-programming, which is the practice of selecting rep that surpasses the technical and music capabilities of the students. Now, if the students can play the notes and understand balance, blend, style, musical intricacies, and such, the conductor has not overprogrammed. However, if the students are playing all of the notes approximately, they aren't able to shape or, no regard to how the notes should be played, that is when overprogramming has occurred. And to avoid this, you need to know a couple things. The ability level of your group. You should select music that is, either at, slightly above, or slightly below the average level of the group. And in general, it is imperative that a quality performance is your goal when selecting music for your group. Chapter goes on and talks about guidelines for choosing music. For elementary full orchestra, the music should be key friendly for either the winds or the strings, and there are different keys that are friendly for both. For elementary winds, F, C, B flat, those are good beginner keys. And then for strings, D, A, and G, those are good keys. Goes on to talk about that you should choose music that will help each student grow and that will sound the best for the group. Consider part assignments. You should know which parts might need to be doubled or have a quote-unquote less dominant music line, as the book said, for sections that may be struggling to play. You need to consider if you have proper instrumentation for full orchestra. Do you have all the people to cover all the parts for a certain piece you want to do? And also range restrictions for brass and woodwinds. Can your students hit those upper or lower notes if they're brand new to the trumpet or the tuba or the flute or whatever? Next section, you need to consider about selecting music based off of style and period. You need to consider your students' preference to the style and consider what the audience wants to hear. Is it a Christmas concert? Are you doing all classical music? Are you doing a specific composer? And, that goes into like the theme. Is there a theme? Is it Halloween? Is it opera, etc., etc.? For on the student's end, most students practice if they perceive their music to be fun, according to Gillespie and Hammond. And the next thing is that for choosing music based off of style and period, it can also help cover different concepts that you may want to consider in the class. For example, this might be a little too far advanced for a very beginning string orchestra, but Baroque can help focus on sorry, I'm trying to get my iPad to open up. Baroque, you can have détaché bow. For classical, it can help work on spiccato bow strokes based off of how the music should be played. Goes on, you should choose music that is challenging enough, but students are capable of practicing it and being able to get to the level where they can perform it. There's a section that talks about the theory behind choosing a method book and all the different things that go into that. For example, appearance, what does it look like? How does it read? Content, what's in it? Structure, how does it pace everything? Approach, kind of similar. And then assessment, supplements, and all the other things that go into it. They provide a list of recommended string method books to start with. They have a list of recommended publishers that support strings. And then for the rest of the chapter, it has guidelines and criteria for what you should look for in each grade. So just to kind of briefly go through it, for a beginning string orchestra, simple time signatures 2 4 3 4 4 4, beginning keys D, G, and C, major, basic rhythms, basic range, and similar to that. And then it has a list of all the pieces that you can add, and it goes on to provide a more in-depth summary for each grade. Overall, I thought this was a useful chapter. These are all important things that go into being a teacher, because you are responsible for programming each concert, and you are responsible for helping your students grow through the music that you teach. And, as someone who's going to be a music teacher, I need to know what goes into choosing music. Are my students going to like it? Is the audience going to like it? What's the time period? Who's the composer? What's the style? All these sort of things. Really important concepts to understand, and this is just scraping the surface for what goes into that.